So this is our September meeting. This is, at least since I've been at Central, the first time we are doing a September meeting. Usually the home and school gets started in October because there's already back to school night in September. But one thing we talked about as the Central Home and School is that at back to school night, there isn't really an opportunity for the home and school to share with you guys because it is such a busy night. We jump right into following your student's schedule and going through those classes, which I know was a lot of fun for everyone trying to get from one side of the building to another. But we got to experience a little bit of what our kids do with a lot less people. So this is our meeting agenda. It is a little bit different than our typical meeting, but all of our meetings will always start off with school updates from President Davis, so that has been kept the same. And we usually receive at the end updates from our parent representatives, which they will also do tonight, and you'll learn more about that.
With the royal family.
Okay, we're gonna jump right into school updates. And please make sure that you stay on mute while we're presenting. If you do need to speak, just use your raise hand function or use the chat. Another thing I will point out is that in the chat, there should be a sign-in form for this meeting. Please sign in. We use that as one way of, having an opportunity to hear from you guys, but also for Title I purposes, showing that the school does have family engagement. So if you could please sign in using that form that's in the chat. Now I will pass it over to President Davis.
Thank you so much, Esther. Hello, everybody. Good evening. It's so wonderful to see close to 100 people logged on. Esther, I believe you're the host, so you can mute everybody if you'd like, and I'll unmute myself. But we're just so happy to be here with you tonight, and I look forward to meeting you if I haven't had the chance to do so already. I would just like to share before I begin that I'm joined by Assistant Principal Walter Myrick. Mr. Myrick, you want to give a quick hello?
Good evening, everybody. It's happy to be here tonight, and we're glad you all came out to join us on Zoom.
Yes, Mr. Myrick, as many folks know, is our 9th grade assistant principal, amongst other hats that he wears. And I was so happy to see that this meeting was really encouraged for our 9th grade families at our 9th grade orientation. So thank you for joining us. We're so glad to see you. Next slide. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to provide some beginning of the year information. As we go through the slide deck, not just my section, the other part provided by the HSA, there's a lot of information. So you can feel free to drop any questions in the chat, but I will say there's some things I purposefully did not include in my updates because I know they're coming up later on in an upcoming slide. I want to say thank you to all the families who joined us for back to school night. I don't have a concrete number to share, but I will share anecdotally that it was one of our highest attended back to school nights that our faculty can remember. Teachers were blown away by the overall participation in their classes and really appreciated the opportunity to match parents' faces with the students that we love so much. So thank you for coming out and supporting our school and meeting your child's teachers. This right here is a slide of some of our newest faculty members who joined us in the 25-26 school year. We do have a couple more familiar faces, but these are teachers who did not teach at Central last year. And right here in the middle of the blue collared shirt is Dr. Frances Maurer, our newest member of our administrator team. We've had a number of teachers at Central this year who are taking a sabbatical for either half of a year or a full year. So some of these teachers are just with us for a temporary amount of time, and others are permanent additions to our faculty. Down here in the right-hand corner is Miss Turner, and she is not a teacher. She is a new member of our main office team. She is a secretary. She works specifically under the title of President's Secretary. So if you come to our main office for an early dismissal or for any reason, you'll see her sitting on the left-hand side of our office, and she is new this year. Other folks I'll just run through really quickly. On the upper left-hand corner, we have Ms. Dunayev. She's a special education teacher. To her right, standing on Broad Street in front of City Hall, we have Mr. Geierman. He's a physics teacher. Dr. Frances Maurer is in the blue collared shirt, assistant principal, administrator. On the left-hand side, on the top row, we have Mr. DiGiulio. He's a Latin teacher. On the bottom left-hand corner, we have Ms. Hawthorne. She's joining us as a Spanish teacher. She's covering for Mr. Julien as he is on a sabbatical for the duration of the school year. Next to her in the red shirt is Miss Matthew. She is a new permanent member of our math department. Next to her in the treed foliage background is Miss Baker. She's a permanent member of our social studies department. And then, of course, in the bottom right-hand corner is Miss Turner, our new permanent secretary. Next slide, please. One thing that's important for me to just name and continuously describe as new families join our school community is just how large we are. I understand that it can be complicated and complex, and it can be confusing to know who to reach out to in a school with thousands and thousands of people. I apologize ahead of time if it starts to feel repetitive, but I do like to just continuously show folks pictures, their names, and share their contact information. These are my four incredible assistant principals who work to lead our school on a daily basis. Mr. Myrick is here, our 9th grade assistant principal. And then from left to right, it goes from 9th grade to 12th grade, excuse me. So Dr. Scott is our 10th grade assistant principal, Mr. Smith 11th, and Dr. Francis Maurer 12th. Our assistant principals are very hands-on. They are wonderful resources for your students as they are navigating what it is to be a high school student. They're also wonderful resources for you as parents when you need support. Next slide. This gives you an overview of the areas of school that they...
Keep all your hair off my back. Get off me.
Can you please mute yourself? Thank you. So you'll see, you all know we refer to our classes by our grade levels by class numbers. So you see that listed under each assistant principal. And each assistant principal, if you didn't know, works with 2 departments. The departments are listed here. We do not in any way expect families to memorize this. This information is all on our website. The names of each of those department leaders is bolded at the bottom of each square. Oop, Esther, oh, there we go. Thank you so much. You can actually move to the next slide. It's very similar to this one. So this is a lot of information on one slide, but it just shows you how we supervise areas at Central High School. There are a lot of different things happening at our school on a daily basis. It's part of what makes our school such an incredible place for young people. You as a parent may have questions about who to reach out to for questions. So this slide helps you answer that. Let's say your child is a member of the Robo-Lancers and you've worked with the coach, but you need some additional support. You could see here that Dr. Francis Maurer works to oversee robotics at Central High School. So he would be a great next point of contact. Similarly, Mr. Smith oversees the Barnwell Library. So if you are not able to get in touch with Mr. Lobron, who's our full-time librarian, Mr. Smith would be the right next person to email. Again, I do not expect anybody to memorize this, but it is posted in our main office. There is a hyperlink to it somewhere on our website, but I'll work to make that a little bit more forward-facing. Next slide. Last but not least, when it comes to communication, I just wanted to emphasize ways that we can encourage best practices as you are supporting your child on their high school journey. One thing that we talk a lot about across the course of 4 years is building independence and communication skills as far as it comes to our teenagers. So we understand and expect that as parents of a 9th grade student, you may provide a higher degree, a greater level of scaffold to your 13, 14, or 15-year-old than your student may need when they are 17, 18, or 19 on the tail end of high school. If you are running into some difficulties, challenges, you need a question answered, that is every single person at our school. We always ask that if you have a question, your starting point is the classroom teacher. For example, if you have a question about an assignment, you have a question about grading, you have a question about something that your child you happened in the class and it doesn't feel quite right, the best place to always Esther, can you please make sure folks are muted? Thank you. The best place to begin would always be there is a list of all of our teachers' email addresses on our central website. Every student at Central also has a homeroom teacher and advisor. This is a person who is their daily point of contact. You can reach out to them if you don't know who else to reach out to. And they're the person who supports with your students' attendance. So let's say your young person was sick, they had a cold, they had an appointment, they didn't come to school. You need to send in a note, and it always goes to advisors first. Let's say that you need some support and it would not be appropriate to start with a classroom teacher. Your child had a negative experience in Miss Davis's classroom, and you really need to talk to somebody else. We ask as much as possible that the next person in the line of communication would be the leader of that department. All of those folks are listed clearly on our website. Sometimes that's also your child's counselor, and we can make sure that that document of counselor assignments is blasted out by the home and school as well. And then, of course, we have 4 assistant principals as well as myself who are here to answer questions and provide support. Central High School is an enormous, enormous place to work. We all get hundreds and hundreds of emails a day. So thank you in advance for your patience as we do our best to respond in a timely manner. And of course, if you feel like your email has been missed by somebody, we're not perfect. It does happen at times. Reach out again. We have an expectation that all parent emails are answered. And so if your email has gone more than 3 days without an answer, put it back at the top of the inbox, or move down the chain to ask for support. There's a tiny little screenshot in the bottom right-hand corner of the slide about where you can find our staff's contact information. We've had a few new staff members join us since the beginning of the year, and I have not had the chance to update the staff directory yet. So they will be updated, but just know that that is a living document and you can find it on our website. Next slide. Okay, so as my time to provide school updates is coming to an end, I just have a few more things that I want to highlight. As we move across the year in monthly home and school meetings, I always tried to lift up celebrations and share bright spots from our school. Oftentimes, this is in the form of photographs. I didn't have an opportunity to put too many photographs in tonight, but highlights from our athletics, highlights from our student clubs and activities, really great things that I'd like to make sure we share across our parent community. One thing that I can share that we've started so far this school year is making sure that students are running for positions in our student cabinet. So this includes our junior and senior class, which I know there's more information on an upcoming slide. I didn't get the opportunity to drop in the names of the students who are in leadership positions in our student association, but those elections happened at the end of the previous school year. And our student association, if you're not familiar, is our school-based organization that oversees all of our clubs. So Ms. Whittle is our faculty point of contact for student association, but then we have a student president, a student vice president, et cetera. They organize so many of our incredible showcases across the school year. They organize spirit days and spirit weeks and fun events. Your child, no matter what grade they're in, you should ask them if they've connected with members of their student cabinet, if they've connected with the class representative who's in their advisory. And we work across the year to make sure that there's lots of different leadership opportunities. One thing in upcoming home and school meetings that I always pledge to do is to share data about relevant topics related to the school year. So we have goals in a plan that is developed in partnership with the School District of Philadelphia, thinking about our progress as it is determined by standardized exams, as well as in-district exams and other metrics such as attendance, college and career readiness, grades that students are earning on student report cards. So I will make sure in upcoming home and school meetings that I share as much of that information with you all as parents as possible. And, if there are ever any requests or asks or ways that we really need support for additional support from the parent guardian community, I'll make sure to surface that in upcoming home and school meetings. Esther, I believe that is the end of my slides, unless I forgot and I added more. Let's see. Oh, there is one more. It is important that families have an awareness of our student eligibility policies. So this is not anything new if you're a returning parent. There is a policy that is on our website. And if you click the policy dropdown, they're in alphabetical order. You can find it there. We want all students at Central to participate in every single opportunity and extracurricular activity. There are, however, consequences if we see students slipping in certain ways. And so those 3 ways are listed here on this slide, and this is a direct copy and paste from the policy on the website. Across the year, we make sure as an administrative team that we monitor students' grades on their report cards, students' attendance, specifically their timeliness to school. And we hope that no student is cutting class, but if that is an issue that we encounter, there are consequences for that as well. Our assistant principals are the ones who really spearhead communication around eligibility with our students. Oftentimes I have parents say, I didn't know my child was ineligible. They got an email, but they never told me. That is a difficulty for us as an administrative team, because when we email students and blind copy, we'd have to individually add parents on for every single child we email. And just multiply 2,400 kids times however many parent emails that are associated one by one. It becomes really difficult. We do tell students that they must take ownership of their eligibility and have continuous conversations with families. And in any situation that is extreme or we're very concerned about a student's progress, of course, we're going to bring parents into the conversation. But at times we have students who may temporarily have their eligibility status rescinded for any of these reasons. And one thing that's important to emphasize, and it's in the policy that's on our website, is that students have many opportunities for success. So let's say you're late 10 times and you become ineligible. It's usually for a period of up to 4 weeks, and then it resets. And so we have reset periods that are across the whole year. They align with when interim reports and report cards are released. I'm going to be sending a reminder about our eligibility as we get closer to our term 1 interim reports, which are coming up in a few weeks, believe it or not. Interim reports, if you're not familiar, are halfway through the marking period. So it's really meant to be a pulse check on students' progress as we are making our way across the school year. If you have any questions about your student's eligibility status at any time, you should reach out to your child's assistant principal. We do not have a spreadsheet that's shared across the school. We don't have a document that students are logging onto. And that's because each student's own status is private to them. It's not publicly shared information. I think that's the last slide. Let's see.
I think that's it.
Thank you so much. I just want to name that I am not going to stay logged on for the whole meeting, but Mr. Myrick is here to represent the school. And as always, if there are questions, parents can feel free to share them with any member of the home and school. And Esther is excellent at making sure they get to me. So thank you so much, Esther. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat.
I'm telling him to clean up his
Myrick.
mess when he gets home.
Okay. Can you please mute? And let me get that right now. Okay. And yeah, AP Myrick will be with us for a little while answering, and anything that doesn't get answered, again, like President Davis said, I will make sure to share it over. So hello to everyone. If you don't know, my name is Esther Roche-Claret. I am the home and school president. I have a 287 student at Central, but I have a 283 graduate is in her second year at Rutgers right now. She's actually in Costa Rica studying abroad, having the time of her life, sending me pictures that make me jealous every single day. But so first, we're going to just go into kind of what is the Home and School Association. Not everyone comes from a school that had a home and school, or you might call it something different, like a parent-teacher organization or a parent-teacher association. We go by the name of Home and School Association in alignment with the School District of Philadelphia's Home and School umbrella organization. So this is our mission and vision. We support Central students by raising funds for school needs, sharing parent feedback with school leadership, and keeping families connected and informed, right? Our vision for the school is a community where families feel engaged, parent voices are valued, and students have every opportunity to succeed through vibrant programs and open communication. there's a lot to that, and there are so many different organizations at work at Central, including the school staff and the Alumni Association and student organizations that all have similar goals and means and ways of doing this. But us in particular, the things that we kind of do to make sure that we are fulfilling our mission is supporting, communicating, and connecting, right? So supporting, we do a lot of fundraising throughout the year. One of the things we do is just ask for direct donations. We have a PayPal account that, and a Venmo account that you can send donations to. You'll probably hear from us on Giving Tuesday as a way of, please consider us as one of those organizations that you donate to. No donation is too small. I often say if every family gave like $5, we probably could meet our direct donation goal for the year. So really, no donation is too small. We accept them all. The other thing that a lot of you guys have engaged in is our merchandise sales. So if you see, I have my Central hoodie on, keeping me warm in here. So we do merch sales. It is the little engine that could, because it is all volunteer, run. Nina, who is our treasurer, has really done a great job of bringing stock into the school so that we can have these different opportunities like new student orientation, or, through online kind of like order forms, sell merchandise for both students, parents, and other, supporters of Central. Today I had an alumni call out like, hey, how do I get one of those hoodies? So I will be, helping her out with getting that to her. But yeah, that's another way of supporting the school or supporting the Home and School Association. Our last big thing is our annual auction, which we weren't able to have last year. So we're hoping to start planning for that early, and we will need support around that to make that happen. And I thank all the parents who were, willing last year, but we will start earlier and start getting that together so that we can have an annual auction, which is a great event where families can come together and really, have some great food and talk to one another, and then, auction on some cool stuff. With these funds, so we do all this fundraising, and what's the point? So with these funds, we do a variety of things, including giving departments, so like the English department, counseling, world languages, math, giving all of the different departments at the school a $2,000 grant. Departments use it to buy supplies that teachers need, or buy programs that, they otherwise could not pay for. And it's been really helpful to some of our, our departments who are able to just take that little bit of money and buy the things that they need. Our technology department gets like all of the different knickknacks that they need, and TV screens and stuff like that make their jobs easier. We also support different student activities. So later in this presentation, you'll hear about the freshman tea and how we support that. And then there are bigger, large-scale projects that we work with President Davis and the school administration to identify to help support. So when I first started, when my family first, started at Central, my daughter joined here, it was in 2020. And so her first school year back in person was 10th grade. And one of the big needs was getting outdoor furniture so that the students could really like space out and be outside. And so that was like a big purchase that the Home and School did. Or refurbing some classrooms and helping, with that. The latest project that we have been working on is trying to purchase JV uniforms for all the JV sports. So those are some of the larger projects, and we will work with President Davis to identify more things. And we are also really willing to work with the Alumni Association because they've got deeper pockets than us. So any of those projects that might be a little bit bigger than what we can really support, they can, piggyback with us and put it together. So I think years ago, one of the things was like air conditioning for the classroom was done in conjunction with a home and school. The other, bucket of things that we do is communicate. So I think a lot of you are on our parent group. So you might see emails that go to parents@centralhsa.org. If you are part of that Google group, you are receiving those messages. And if you are not part of that group, I really recommend going to our website, centralhsa.org, looking for the email list icon, and then going to the form and signing up for that Central Home and School Google group. In addition to getting information from us, like newsletters and updates and things like that, you are able to send a message. So you can send a message to parents@centralhsa.org and ask a question like, we are looking for a chemistry tutor. Do you have any suggestions? Or what works well with like SAT prep? And you can get answers from parents there. So please note that we do have a list of rules around using that Google group that is on our website. So just please take a look at those when you are signing up. Obviously, no solicitation through that group, things like that. We also, that is not a space for bashing on teachers or saying this and that, like very, one-off situations. What President Davis shared is the best way, forms of communication when you're trying to get things resolved. We can ask general questions of like, how did your child navigate, having 4 AP classes? But we really don't want to go into the specifics of anything that is going to, demean any of our staff. You will hear from us directly, so please pay attention to emails that come from Central HSA folks, because we're usually sharing reminders from the school, important information from the school. A lot of that, though, comes in this last bucket of connecting. If you come to our monthly HSA meetings, you'll always get a school update report from either President Davis or AP Myrick. We also have a lot of presentations that come throughout the year that are related to school topics, and they might bring in other school staff members or other school district employees who can really share how things work at the school or at the school district. So highly recommend coming to the monthly HSA meetings. Oh, I don't even know how that works, but I have to take that
Sorry,
off.
I did that by accident. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
No worries. I gotta figure out how to clear that. So we as a home and school, we also meet with the school administration, with President Davis, with AP Myrick, to talk more in depth on issues that we might see in the come up in the listserv in our Google group, or things that you guys mentioned to me. I'm active on the Facebook group, so I might see things and might share things with school administration. So we also have separate meetings with them. The last thing is volunteer opportunities for us parents to help out at the school, like the freshman tea, multicultural cafe, teacher appreciation meals, campus beautification. So keep an eye out on those. We'll share more information. Yes, Debbie?
May I also make a plug for Museum Day? We need volunteers on October 6th. Oh, I could have said that when we get to that. I'm sorry, but we do need volunteers. And I volunteered as a sophomore parent, even though it's a senior activity. It's a great way to see what your kids are going to do later and meet some of the seniors, talk to them, talk to the other people there. So shameless plug.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna share again and see. Okay, I think that cleared. All right. So this is our e-board. I'm just going to let everyone introduce themselves, just say hi really quickly. So again, my name is Esther. I am in my second year as president, and I am a parent of a 283 and a 287. Passing it along.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jennifer, are you there?
Yeah,
no,
I just caught
no
what you
worries.
said. Hi, I'm Jennifer. I am in my second year as vice president, and I'm the parent of a 287. Those beautiful faces right there. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that. Oh, and sorry, I'm passing it on to Tara.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tara Desmond. I'm a 287 parent. I joined last year as a parent rep. It was a really helpful way to get my head around this giant place and make it feel a little bit smaller and help out in whatever way I can. So.
And I will just say, so Tara is a vice president nominee. So you're going to see in that Google group a form that I would appreciate you guys just voting on and confirming our board. We have to do it by the end of our October meeting. So it will be coming through soon, and then by the end of our October meeting, our board will be confirmed. All right, keeping it going. Nina.
Hello all, I'm Nina Liu and I'm the treasurer for my 6th year now, but final year at this point. I'm super excited, frankly. I'm scrolling through the list. Yes, I do troll these things of all the new parents that are on this particular Zoom meeting. I really do hope that you join us for every single one, because it is super helpful and important to really kind of get a feel of sort of the central community and everything. Anyways, a treasurer, parent of a 283 who's gone, 285, which means this is my last year. I'm going to put in the chat. I'm going to open up the Spiritwear Back to School sale link for anyone who may have missed it, because you were not signed up for the parents listserv or are not on the Facebook group. You won't be able to get everything that's on there, but most things are available. So that if anyone wants to place an order, I will accept those at this point in time. But welcome. I hope you all keep on showing up and coming and volunteer. We need you. We can't do what we do without you. So I'm going to turn over to Terry now.
Hi, I'm Terry Jack. I am the secretary. I've also been chairing the beautification committee for the last couple of years. I currently have a 285 at Central, and my older daughter graduated 282. And just to, reiterate the welcome, and don't jump in with us. There's a lot of good things going on, and we always need the hands and the camaraderie, the HSA.
All right, thanks everyone. I did put down there, contact us at info@centralhsa.org. That I know I received those, and I can always share it over. You'll probably see in the Google group people's emails come up, like my direct email address. So I know people have that also. Okay. So how do you stay informed on what is happening at Central? All right, important question. It's something that parents always are like, there's so much going on. How do I find out? I don't know if anyone has any suggestions of things. We have a couple things that I have on the next slide, but just putting that question in there. And if you want to drop in the chat, what are your little tidbits on how do you stay informed about what's happening at Central? So these are some suggestions from us on places to get information and connect. I've already kind of talked a lot about the Google group. So make sure you are receiving those notifications. You can set it to be like a digest that you get instead of getting every single email. But it is a great way to make sure you are receiving like notifications from the home and school, and a place where, again, you can ask questions from other parents. There is also a Facebook group that I know a lot of people are active on. The home and school is not, that's not a HSA Facebook group. I don't know who started it, when it was started, but I am on there as an admin. I think a couple of us might be. So that's another place that you can go, but just know that's not like an official HSA page, but that is there. I also highly recommend Central High School's website, spending some time like navigating it and finding out what are all the different pages on there. There are so many different pages. Some of them are much more up to date than others, I will say that, but you can, there's a lot of questions that I see that pop up that can, for the most part, be answered if you look at the Central High School website. So that's centralhs.philasd.org. The school staff list is on there. School policies are posted on there. President Davis posts a lot of her communication on there. I think like everything she really sends out, she eventually just puts on or has someone put on the website. The different departments, like the counseling department is on there. So if you're not sure who your kid's school counselor is, you go on the school website, you go to the counseling department's page, that information is there. They also have so many different resources on their page. You could find out more about the course selection process and what are all the different courses that are available. There is a Google Calendar that is embedded into the Central High School website. And if you go to that Google Calendar and you're crazy like me, you can add it to your own Google Calendar so it shows up. And that way you have all of those dates kind of be there. But you can also just pick specific things on that Google Calendar and say, add to my calendar, copy to my calendar, right? There's sports pages on there that, list, who the coaches are and things like that. So I recommend spending some time looking at that, looking at the different pages. The last thing is Parent Portal. This is run by Infinite Campus. It's what the school district of Philadelphia has purchased for their student information system. So teachers and school staff, they use it to take attendance, put grades in, and all of those things. Students have their own version of it called the Student Portal, which, that's where they can access some of their apps and things like that. And there's a parent side to it, which is the Parent Portal. So when we say Parent Portal, we're talking about the Infinite Campus application that is parent facing. If you are not, and that is how the school usually sends their communication. So that is probably, you have received those notices too from the school or from the school district, and they'll say Parent Portal in your inbox, in your emails. You're not getting them directly to your email. Please play around with Infinite Campus and check the settings, because maybe something got toggled off or you don't have your correct email address in there, or just something weird might have happened. If you go to the face page for the School District of Philadelphia, they have a whole section that's about Parent Portal that has more information. But worst case scenario, if you really can't figure out, like, how do I get onto my Parent Portal or something's not working, our FACE liaison, her email is on this slide, and you can reach out to her, and she can help you navigate whatever your issue might be. All right. I'm hoping, I'm seeing things pop off in the chat, and I'm hoping other home and school e-board members are answering. All right. Central Home and School meeting. I think, Tara, I'm passing this over to you.
Okay. This is a really easy way to get involved, get your questions answered, ask questions, and also, again, I mean, just put some faces to names and names to faces. As it becomes more and more difficult to extricate information from your child, maybe I'm projecting, but if that's the case in your household, then finding a resource community is really useful. And that's what these meetings are supposed to be. So they really aim to offer school updates from administration, as we've had tonight, and that will carry through each meeting. So it's a great chance to just have a little bit of FaceTime with admin who are usually, you know, in the throes of school while you are in the throes of life. So there's always a presentation on some topic. So upcoming, there will be a focus on college admissions. Course selection, I think, will be in January, so you can kind of get an idea of how students select what they're interested in and when they're able to select certain things, when electives are relevant, AP, IB, etc. So there's a really good, robust presentation on how that all works, which is really helpful. And student health, there's also some other topics in the works, and we are definitely interested in hearing from you all about topics that would be of interest to you, to your student, or to all of us. So please let us know, and we will try to make arrangements for that. Obviously, you'll get updates from the Home and School Association, from the parent class reps. That's one way that we can break down, you know, kind of the size of things, is that there are groups of us who are working directly with our class rep administrators, maybe mining our students' Google Classroom for information in their particular class Google Classroom, which, if you didn't know exists, it does. You have to kind of go in through their account to see that. And the faculty rep for each class will post important information there. So if they're not telling you that directly, you can kind of pop in every couple of weeks or so and take a look. But we'll cover that information in these meetings as well. We'll talk about some of the work that the committees are doing and ways that you can participate. And again, as people have said / begged so far already, there are opportunities big and small, including, you know, donations, things you can do from home in your PJs, or things you can do by showing up to events at school or elsewhere. So we will let people know what some of those opportunities are at these meetings. And then we also have a chance to learn what the Alumni Association is up to. It's probably, you know, one of the big appeals and drivers of the community and culture at Central is this incredible alumni network across the city, and it is highly active. So there are opportunities to hear from them and the ways that they're supporting the future and the present of the school. And then obviously upcoming events and important dates. So if you feel like you don't know what's going on, just make a note of the upcoming meetings and make sure to pop in. I've seen a couple of people ask in the chat if these meetings are recorded and then posted, and they are. And we will do our best to make sure that's circulated in all mediums so people know where to find that. Okay, Esther, I think we can go to the next one. So these are the upcoming meeting dates. And again, we'll post these in all the places, but if you want to take a screenshot of these now, if that's useful to you, the next meeting will be October 8th. The topic is college planning. Again, these meetings are open to everybody. So even if you're a 288 parent with a freshman, and it's helpful to just have that information and insight as to how the school supports in that college planning, then certainly, make the plan to join in on that. And obviously it will be immediately relevant to juniors and seniors. November 12th, we're aiming for an in-person session, and we are TBD on a topic, so we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And again, we invite suggestions on that. December 10th, someone from the administration will cover IB program and AP courses, which is really helpful to get an understanding of the differences between the two and the opportunities to access which things and when. January 7th, which will be right after we get back from break, but just to hop right back into it on that Wednesday night, we will cover the course selection process. I personally found this really helpful last year, having no idea how this was going to get done, and it was a really thorough explanation, which the students in turn get in school and assemblies very shortly thereafter, so then you can have discussions at home as to how to make these choices. So that was really useful. February 11th, AI technology and education is the proposed topic. March 11th, topic TBD. April 8th is the second planned in-person session, also topic TBD, and May 13th will round out the end of the year of our meetings with another to be determined topic.
Okay. Which brings us to this question of what topics are you most interested in for a future meeting? So last year we did get responses in our home and school sign-in form of what topics people are interested in. So some things were, about like AI and digital literacy was one of them. So that's why we're getting that together for that February meeting. But if you have other suggestions, if you can put them in either your sign-in sheet, I think in the chat you can put in any suggestions you guys have for meetings. I'm gonna just stop sharing real quick to look at something. So like previous home and school meetings, people had suggested social emotional wellness, importance of leadership and extracurricular activities, effective communication skills, cyber safety and digital literacy, career exploration and pathways. I thought this was a good one, global trip opportunities and financial support for those. I do know that there are some opportunities through the school or through like CIEE for students to, spend part of their summer abroad. So what are those opportunities? So that might be a good topic. Subject selection's already one. School volunteer opportunities, that is always a big thing of people trying to figure out like how to get those volunteer hours. Some people have organizations that they're already tied with, or even through the student organizations, there's things that happen, or clean campus beautification, but maybe there are, other opportunities that students aren't aware of. Information for new students and families is kind of why we're doing this meeting. SAT prep, family fun meetups as a meeting. So maybe that's, one of our in-person meetings is more of a family fun meetup. So off of those ideas or of any other suggestions, if you guys can just put them in the chat or using the sign-up form, sharing that out. Okay, let me go back to screen sharing. Get off script and then everything gets thrown off. So volunteering with the home and school is what we're going to be talking about next. Let me just pull this up for you guys.
Okay.
All
Esther,
right.
while you pull that
So
up.
first,
Oh, no, go ahead.
yeah.
Sorry. No, I was just
No,
going to
go.
suggest people, the chat is like jumping, and I love to see it. But some of the questions, like, it's moving really fast. So some of the questions get answered, but you may have to scroll back up to see it. So just if you ask the question and you didn't see an answer, just scroll back up and you may see the answer. But because it's moving fast. Like when I go to look for a link, by the time I come back, somebody's already answered it. So great job.
Yeah,
It's
great.
awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Sam, for pointing that out. And I mean, yes, I
Mhm.
appreciate all the people who are like, I'm seeing people I've names I haven't ever seen before, like answering questions. Super appreciate that, and just the activity that's happening there. So, yeah, so we had different committees that kind of help do the work at of the home and school. In addition, so we've got like our big kind of like executive board that includes like our parent reps and people on the committees, plus our elected positions. Then we also have other parents who support the work through committees. And yeah, so I just wanted to let those parents introduce themselves real quick. So Michael, if you're on the call, if you just want to say hi and what committee you're with. And he's on here, but so Michael is a 288 parent. So the fundraising committee, they are the leads on planning the spring auction. They organize additional fundraisers. They ask for donations and send letters. We will need volunteers to support our merch sales. So when we do the merch sales in person, or even like with the form, if Nina's like, okay, we have so many orders, I need an extra set of hands to help me pack all of this. That's always a big help if parents can support with that. And then the actual auction, donations, helping with planning, helping decorating, helping to clean up, and things like that. And then next we have our hospitality committee. Is Emily on? And you can say hi.
Hello. Looking forward to meeting everyone and hoping there's a lot of volunteers.
Thanks, Emily. So also a 288 parent. Emily, do you have another student?
Yes, I have a 286 and 288.
Yeah, so 286 and 288. I left that off of here. I apologize. So, but yeah, so our hospitality committee, they help manage staff appreciation meals. So we do like a great teacher appreciation lunch during teacher appreciation week, but also during report card conferences, we might give out food to our teachers or a little snack to keep them going through those report card conferences. Our hospitality committee helps organize volunteers for school events and home and school events. So we definitely need volunteers for different special events, and they will kind of organize all of that. Then we have our beautification committee, which you met Terry because she's also our secretary. We would love to have, for all of these actually, if you are interested in being a co-chair, we would love to have a co-chair to help with the planning of cleanups and different projects around the school. And of course, we would need volunteers for campus cleanups and touch-ups. So like on the spring concert, for instance, where people are coming in at night, making sure that the bathrooms and things are well stocked and clean so that people can use them. That's a big help that the beautification committee does. So, and those events are also opportunities for students to volunteer. So it's a great way for them to also get their hours. And then our last one is communications committee. Ebony, are you on?
I don't think she is, Esther. I don't think she could make it.
Okay. So Ebony is a 288 parent, and she is heading the communications committee. Our parent class rep call.
I couldn't unmute, but I am here. Sorry about that. It was very quick. Technology and my email. I mean, unmuting. But hi, everyone.
Hi, Ebony. So yeah, Ebony has jumped, head first into communications, which is a beast of, getting information together, sending it out. So you'll see her name on the Google group very often because she is sending out communications to that group, like, updates about what's happening at the school, updates with the home and school specifically. And yeah, so keep an eye out for emails from Ebony because they usually will have really important information. We do have a vacancy for 285 plus a co-chair for those different committees, plus all of our committees could use extra hands of people who are saying, I can volunteer more than just on a one-off basis. Like I want to be part of the committee, help with fundraising or help, with hospitality. So if you are interested in any of those, please, please scan this. I think we're gonna try to drop in the chat the link for this. This takes you to a sign up Genius. If we're not able to do that, you will get it in the Google group and in the summary of this meeting. So if you're interested in being like a more, I guess signed up like committee member, please consider filling that out. I don't know if we have a lot of 285 parents on here, but we could always, Debbie could use a second person to help support. All right. I'm gonna pass it over to Jennifer real quick to talk about clearances.
I have technology problem too.
Oh, hi, Michael. Everyone,
Hello,
this is Michael. Say hi.
I am a parent of 288, 9th grade, and I'll be helping with fundraising, and we appreciate everyone's help. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Jennifer.
Are you gonna put the slide back up? Or can you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. I am putting in the chat a link to the school district's volunteer flyer, and all the information is laid out there for you, but also we'll run through it here. If you click on that flyer, the links will take you to all of these. And if this slide is available, I'm not sure. I think I can post all these links in the chat too. The link takes you right to the site that you need to get the clearance that you need. You have to sign the volunteer code of conduct agreement. And then at the end, you get a certificate of volunteer orientation completion. I believe you have to watch like a quick video or something. The child abuse history, PA state criminal background check, and the FBI background check, or a signed affirmation sheet saying that you've lived in this state for 10 years or more. And of course, if you already have any of these clearances for work, other schools or other volunteer things, you can submit that paperwork too. So you can just send it all to the school district once you have like your packet complete. I mean, not the school district, I'm sorry, central main office. That's all I have. Are there any questions about that? Oh, and it lasts for 5 years. I think I said that already. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks,
No,
Jennifer.
it's for any school. So if you already, like if you have a kid at another school, you're sending them the same information. But Central had, like, even if you're already signed up as a volunteer at another school, it still has to be on record at Central too. So you can just take the forms you had at the other school and send it to Central. Well, wait, Mr. Myrick, but you still have to, if it's at the other school, does that transfer over to Central, or does the parent have to physically send it?
They would have to send it because for staff, like ours are in a system, but if you transfer, well, if you come to Central and you haven't given us your clearances, we need to have those at Central on file also.
Okay. So yeah.
But
So you
they
can
last
still use the
5
same
years.
information, just, yeah. but you have to physically get it to Central. Nice. Okay. That's all
And
I
I
have,
was
short and
also
sweet.
going to add, yeah, I was going to say, if you do need support, that FACE liaison that we mentioned earlier that can help with Parent Portal, she can also, Ms. Polk can also help you with your clearances and all of this if you're having any issues. I am dropping in the chat now the link for the sign up for committee. Okay.
One other thing I forgot, I left off. I know that child abuse is free because you're going to check off that you're a volunteer for a school, and the state background check, I believe, is also free if you check off you're a volunteer. If you do need to do the FBI check, that does come with a fee. So I think it's like $27 now or something. So just FYI. Okay, that was it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thanks, Jennifer. All right, parent class reps. So I am just giving an overview of it, and then we'll pass it to each of our class reps. Oh, and I saw in the chat, who do we send the clearances to? Bring them to the main office, or have your student drop them off at the main office. They store them somewhere. Okay, so parent class reps, they connect with a faculty class sponsor and assigned assistant principal to get updates from them. They, use that information and they can share it out in our Google group. They're also supposed to put it in our monthly meeting. So every meeting, towards the end of the meeting, we will have a time for each of the parent class reps to share out those updates and kind of talk about what's going on with the class. They are active in our Google group, so they're really kind of aware of the questions and things that come up. And since they are already connected with the faculty class sponsor and the assistant principal, they can kind of share up like, hey, I keep hearing, volunteering is kind of an issue for our 288, what suggestions do you have? Or tutoring is a need, what suggestions do you have? So that kind of back and forth communication is really useful. And since the class reps are, getting all of the updates directly from the class representative or class sponsor, or they're also logged into their kids' Google Classroom, they're really able to be on top of what's happening so that you guys can all kind of hear from them directly at these meetings and in the Google group, what's going on with the class. One thing that we really want to stress is supporting the class sponsor in planning and implementation of class activities. So maybe it's asking for volunteers or donations for something that's coming up, or, speaking to the Home and School Executive Board or the Alumni Association of, if there is a need for additional funds, how do we fund those things? So the Home and School does set aside money to support class activities, but depending on the need, we might be able to either reach out to the Alumni Association or talk to President Davis on how to make sure that those things can happen. All right, so we'll get right into our class updates. We'll start with our seniors.
Okay, I'm Debbie Mazur, and I am the 285 class rep. Happy to have someone join me. Our faculty sponsor is Mike Harwitz, and he is amazing in all that he does for everyone all the time. And our AP is the new AP, David Francis Maurer. So that is us. And I think we have updates here too.
Mm-hmm.
I have to make it bigger because I can't see that. Oh, the senior portraits final calls this week. So schedule an appointment, please, if your child has done so already, and make sure you get their portraits. Each senior will have a portrait in the yearbook. You do not have to buy the print for your senior's portrait to be in the yearbook. So make sure they get the pictures, even if you're not going to buy the print or the proof, whatever you call that. Museum Day is October 16th. We do need chaperones, so please, please, please come chaperone, even if you do not have a 285. It's a really good way to see what your child will get to do in the future and, meet some older kids, talk to them, etc. Class dues, collections are, it says tomorrow and Friday, but I think they're kind of any day if you go to the class treasurer or if you just go up to Mr. Horowitz, or if you just do it on School Cash Online. It's $250 and it must be paid prior to graduation. So there are opportunities for fundraising to help offset those costs throughout the year, but pay it and then I guess they figure that out on the back end. I'm even not sure, but I'm sure they take care of it somehow. We have newly elected senior class officers. So Cole Seamus, Corey Jackson, Sanaya Hands, and Ronnie Brinkley are new class officers. So congratulations to all of them. And the blood drive is coming up. It has an amazing organizer, my daughter. So she's on the committee that organizes it. So please, parents, students, anyone, as you know, or you may or may not know, blood is critically, there's a huge shortage, a critical shortage right now. So anyone who wants to come donate, please do. It gives you an opportunity to be in the school, see the kids, and please encourage your students. I think they have to be 16 and over to donate. And I know one of my daughter's friends is turning 16 that day and is planning to donate. So that's great. The registration links will be distributed. And that is October 29th. Community service, it was already spoken about, but definitely get those hours in. IB does handle it differently, and it is done through the IB program. But if your child is not an IB student, which only applies to juniors and seniors, then they do have to get their 25 hours in before January 9th or 30 hours by May 16th. And we will have all the fun things we usually have, which is Powder Puff football, March Madness, the ski trip, the picnic, the 5K prom, and Central Night at the Village. And I think that might be it, but please, parents, feel free to volunteer for any and all events. It's really fun and we need volunteers. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Debbie.
Mhm.
I will point out some of those annual events, even though they're like organized by Mr. Horowitz, like the Central 5K will be open for all students. So keep an eye out for when those things are being announced, because these are some of these opportunities that, sometimes our underclassmen miss out on because they think, it doesn't apply. Or Central Night at the Phillies, like we're all invited. We can all buy tickets. Mr. Horowitz will ask you if he sees you in the hallway if you bought your Phillies tickets. So
Yep. The 5K and the Powder Puff, I think, is junior, senior, and March Madness. Isn't that everyone too, I think?
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think, they do like a class kind of like competition, and are you, different ways to kind of show your class spirit. Okay. Thanks, 285. All right, 286.
Hi, I'm Amy Arcaro, and my daughter is Raina, and I am the class rep for 286, and I was also the class rep last year for 284. So I worked with Ashley last year and the year before that when my son was going through Central. So, and she is married to Mr. Horowitz. They share an office, so you can, if you can't find one, you can find the other somewhere around the school if you have questions.
And Marialis, if you want to say hi.
Hello. So I just came on board as support for Amy as a 286 parent rep. I look forward to hearing from some of you.
Thank you. So some quick updates. First of all, every 2 weeks, I will send out a little 286 newsletter through the listserv. So it's very important that you get connected through the listserv, which we talked about earlier today. If you cannot click on a link on the newsletters that I send out, then please go to your students' Google Classroom, 286 Google Classroom, and there you can find the links and they will work as long as you're in there in your student's name. Yesterday, the rings were ordered, the class rings. We get those the junior year. And I'm sending out a newsletter tomorrow. So you can, or maybe even tonight, you can go on there and click on the little, there's a little link on there, and there is contact information to Jocelyn's. If you feel panicked that you missed it, you can go in there, and I'm sure if you contact them, they will still take your order. So they're always looking for that, right? But I wouldn't push it past, tomorrow, because I know that they came into the school yesterday and took orders. Everybody in their junior year has to sign up for health screening. You can also do that in 286 Google Classroom. Each student gets a slot, and then they go in and they get their usual height, weight, vision screening done. Class dues, please pay half of the $250 this year so that you're not overburdened with it next year. And like Debbie said, there are opportunities to raise money towards that for your student. And also, when I send out the newsletter, there's a link in there that tells you all the things that the dues are used for. So it's mostly for your senior year. All the money goes towards activities your senior year. And I just wanted to congratulate these kids that are our new class representatives for our student representatives in 286. They will be doing a lot of the planning for the activities. Thank you, everybody, and I look forward to meeting a lot of you.
All right, thanks, 286. All right, next we have 287. All right, I think Alyssa told me she could not make it. Renee, are you on? There's a little technology buffer. Okay. So 287, we have two parent representatives. Alyssa is joining us now that Tara has transitioned into the VP role. So she is new to being parent rep this year. Renee has been a parent rep since last year. The faculty sponsor this year is Sean Martin, who that is new from previous years. So excited to work with Mr. Martin. And then the assistant principal for 287 is Dr. Tracy Scott, who has been with Central for a minute, and she's wonderful. Okay, and you see their pictures there, Renee and Alyssa. Okay, 287 updates. These are ideas that our parent reps are floating up and speaking to the class sponsors. So planning something for October and November to bring the class together, like a sophomore spirit week, doing a soft hop February, March, or April at Lucky Strike in Center City, a sophomore picnic in the spring, having class games similar to the seniors versus juniors, maybe like a sophomores versus freshmen event. Super excited. There will be a sophomore t-shirt and or hat. They will do pre-order, so please, keep an eye out for those so you don't miss that window, because they do not order extras. They just order for who says they want a t-shirt or hat. They are thinking about coordinating a museum day when the seniors are on their class trip and juniors are taking the SATs. So I believe that's in like April, I want to say, because they've switched it. And obviously fundraise to help support these different activities. It also helps go towards the cost later on in their junior and senior year. Class dues cover like a good chunk that all goes to student activities, but there are, you know, more costs associated with actually having all of those different events. Okay, so those are the 287 updates. And now it's to our newest class, our class 288. So our freshmen, our parent representatives could say hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Chelsea Badeau. I have a 288, obviously, and I also have a 282 who's in college now. And I'm partnering with Renita, who is here but is dealing with some allergy flare-up. So I will give the update for 288. Our faculty sponsor is Robert Burns, and our AP is Mr. Myrick, who's on. I think he's still on.
I'm still
as
here.
well. Okay, great. And I know you were so kind as to actually, I think, pull together most of these updates since we're just joining in here. So I can go through them, but if you want to like add anything specific, feel free to jump in too.
Absolutely.
Great. So for 288 updates, there are monthly town halls. The September town hall will be on Monday, September 29th. The community service hours and information has been posted in the Google Classroom. So this is new for freshman families who are new to high school in Philadelphia and also Central. So just make sure that you are aware of the community service requirement and kind of get on top of that with making a plan with your student. Pending 288 t-shirt. AP Myrick, did you want to say anything else about that one?
So every class gets a shirt or a sweatshirt, and I'm partnering with Mr. Burns as the 288 sponsor, and we're going to make sure that 288 has a t-shirt. I'm going to go back a bit. For some community service opportunities, I will post those only for 288 because they don't know all the ways to get those hours. So there will be some things that will be 288 specific. And for the monthly town halls, every month we're going to talk about a different topic. So for the September town hall, we're going to be talking about academic identity and what it means for you to transition to Central High School. And what if your grades begin to slip a bit? How do you maintain who you are as an academic person? And how do you balance out your academic self with your mental health needs? So we really want to make sure that we're guiding our students through Central with more specific town halls for what that grade needs every month.
Awesome. And I saw somebody answered the town halls are specifically for students, not parents as well. Homecoming, which is also, I saw answered in the chat, is Monday, November 3rd. There's no school the next day because that's election day. And it also sounded like in the chat, if this is correct information, that tickets will become available soon, usually to the upperclassmen first, and then the remaining grades will have the opportunity as availability allows. Lockers are coming. It looks like there's a promise there, so that's good. Freshman tea, that was covered earlier. Was there a sign up for volunteers shared, or is that one that will be shared, Esther?
That's coming up next, I think. Next slide will be.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then if you have academic or social concerns, feel free to email AP Myrick with his email address is right here. So you have that available as an outlet as well. And just that, you know, I think both the parents and the class sponsor and AP Myrick are open to ideas from parents and students for how we can build this community together. AP Myrick, did I cover it? Was there anything else you wanted to add?
You did great job. The lockers take a long time. I was able to assign 400 before students got back, and that's 400 when nobody's in the building. So it's longer to get it done when kids are in the building, but lockers are coming. I promise, I promise, I promise.
All right. Okay, so just speaking a little bit more on freshman tea. So if you're a new parent to Central, you're probably like, what is that? It is taking place Friday, September 26th. It is a student facing thing. It's an opportunity for our new students. So all of 288 plus any of the 287 transfers, which I believe President Davis said were about 30 students. They have a chance to learn more about the student organizations and clubs that are being run at Central. So student organizations are able to set up in the wrestling gym, which is on the first floor, like right when you go into the school through the main office. It's not like that first little gym, which is like the dance. It's like the gym next to it. They're able to set up, some of them bring like poster boards or just have flyers and share about their club. And then the new students, they come during their lunch. So they enter the wrestling gym and they walk around and they're hopefully, talking to all of these different like club organizers. So please, please, please encourage your students like, hey, I heard the freshman tea is coming. That's a great time for you to find out, what clubs are happening, what organizations you can get involved in, what days of the week are they operating, and things like that. I've had kids who just literally, they go in one door and come out, 90 seconds later, and I'm like, you didn't talk to anybody. So please encourage your students to take that as an opportunity to find out about student organizations. It's a great way to get volunteer hours. A lot of the student organizations do things that count for volunteer hours. It's a great way for them to find out what their interests are, to meet new friends, and then potentially as they get older and get more committed to different things, is something that looks great on their college application. The home and school, we help encourage students to come to this event by offering snacks and drinks when they exit. So the idea is they go in, they talk to these different tables, they come out and they get, to choose like a bag of chips or some cookies and some iced tea or juice or water. So we do actually need help to do that because there's about 650 to 750 students that we are trying to give out snacks to, keeping track of the kids who already went through so they don't sneak in and try to get another snack. So it would be really helpful if we could get some hands for that event. There is a Google form, so you can either scan that QR code if you're able to, or I'm going to drop in the chat the hyperlink. This will also be eventually shared through our Google group. It's okay if you can only volunteer for part of the day. On that form, you can indicate if you can be there all day or if you can only be there for a couple hours. Just say, select the other and put, I can be there from 12 to 2 or whatever it might be. The parents who come hang out, and it's a great time for us to like talk and find out more things and kind of, get some ideas around the home and school. So it's always a good time. So we appreciate the help that day. All right.
Esther,
So
I'm not
Debbie?
sure if you said this or not because I was trying to read the messages at the time, but I do see that the Google form does say that it ends at 12:30. It does go all day. So,
okay. Thanks, Debbie, for catching that. You know what it was?
well,
Is that
thank Erica
I
for catching.
cheated. I cheated and I copied last year's form, and I think
Okay.
last year was only a half day. So that's what happened. It is an all day thing.
Yes.
So it goes from, and we start setting up super early in the morning. I will fix that on the form. But for those of you who are here, it is all day. So, and you can help at the end of the day and clean up and all of that. It'd be great. Okay, cool.
Esther, I have to hop off. I've got to go to our leadership union meeting.
He's jack of all trades. All right, bye, AP
But I
Myrick. Thank
think
you so much for
I
sticking
think
with us.
you're welcome. I think you don't need me for anything else, correct?
Nope, this is our last slide.
All right.
So
Thank you, everybody.
free
And
to
if you need
go.
anything from me, send me an email and we'll make sure your kids are having a great year at Central. Everybody have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so last slide. Terry, do you want to run us through our upcoming or the school's upcoming dates and events?
Sure. Sorry. All right, so the school selection window is opened. It opened last Monday and will be open through October 23rd. So if you know anybody or have children that are in 8th grade and would like to put Central on their as one of their schools for high school. There will also, or starting today, was the first open house for prospective students. So it is pretty much every Wednesday through September up till October 22nd that the school is doing in person, mostly open houses for those applicants or prospective students. And I believe it was on the last day, October 22nd, there's also a virtual open house. The school is closed on September 23rd. Next week, next Tuesday, same week, we have freshman tea on Friday, September 26th. And we have a lot of school closed days in October, more than the last couple of years. So October 2nd, October 10th, and October 13th, school is closed. We are looking to have our next HSA general meeting on October 8th. So in between some of those closed days. I put October 16th, the 285 Museum Day on there because they're always looking for chaperones. There's lots of museums that that the seniors can choose from, provided that there are chaperones to help them get to all those locations. And at the end of October, October 20th through the 24th, there'll be the Hispanic Heritage Showcases. Typically with the cultural showcases, each class will have will get to attend the showcases during advisory period. So first thing in the morning. There is usually an evening performance as well for parents and alumni can come and see the showcases, and also provide an opportunity for fundraising for the groups. But I think stay tuned. I don't have a confirmation that the evening one is happening, but you can have your students. It will be announced which classes are going to the showcases on which days. So it's always a good time. I think that brings us to October.
Thank you. All right. So thank you to all of you who stuck with us. We will see you next month in October. And please keep an eye out, again, Google Groups, for those signups for volunteering for committees, freshman tea, and I will make a new one for Museum Day. A lot of fun Museum Day. So, and you don't have to be a 285 parent. I have chaperoned lots of trips that have nothing to do with my kiddos. So definitely you can join in the fun. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.